Hello and welcome to the Empower Couples podcast, where here you get modern, non-boring relationship advice for you and your partner to communicate like pros, fight smarter, and stay on the same team no matter the challenge that you face. I'm one of your hosts, Aaron Freeman.
And I'm Jocelyn Freeman, but you all just know us as the Freemans.
And this episode is about 5 ways to create more fun and inspiration in your marriage and life.
You know, it's an interesting time in life, and, we live in the United States, in Arizona specifically. We know that we have listeners all over the world, and so things may be different where you are. But I think overall, human beings are dealing with a lot of stress, a lot of responsibilities, a lot on your plate. And there's so much information you can be consuming, media, and this is happening, and this tragedy, and this needs to be fixed, and your relationship has challenges going on, and it can feel like a lot. And you likely could, if you're anything like us, use a breath of just some fun, some laughter, some lightness, some joy, some inspiration being a part of that. And yesterday was a great example of that, Aaron, right? What did we do?
Oh yeah, we did a salsa dancing class for your birthday, even though technically your birthday is today when we're recording, and it was yesterday just for how it fit into the week. But we had couples come together and do salsa dancing together.
Yeah. And afterwards, I just asked all of our friends, I said, doing this together, what did it remind you of? Or, did it create a certain intention for you moving forward? And I think almost everyone in some way said, yeah, we just need to have more fun. They were all parents. And so it's we're adulting a lot, right? We're parenting, we're adulting. And all of us were just setting the intention for more fun, more inspiration moving forward.
Well, happy birthday.
Oh, thank you.
I just realized that. I mean, I said it was your birthday and then didn't say anything about it. So if you're listening to this, send Jocelyn a DM on Instagram too to say happy birthday.
Well, thank you for that.
I was about to say the year, but I guess it doesn't really matter, right?
Yeah, age is just a number. And I'm committed that our daughter, because that's a big part of our life, that she sees us having fun. Yes, she sees us pay the bills and, get responsibilities done and chores, right? Do your chores. But I want her to see.
Well, you're speaking about us. I don't know not do your chores. It's not something we talk
that's just
about.
kind of, I think, how people can be around
I just wanted to be clear because you were talking about us and then Sky and then
yes.
I don't know who in our household was talking about do your chores.
No, I think that's just that's an adulting thing to your kids. No, but what I'm getting at is I want her to see fun. I want her to see us as a couple and as individuals living a fulfilled, joyful life. And, we grow up and it's we have to start to be serious. We have to start to, manage our responsibilities. But inside of all of us is this childlike spirit. We aren't here to just get stuff done and then die, just to put it frankly, right? We're here to experience things. And yes, is a hardship a part of that? We talk about challenges on the podcast, but also joy. And maybe that's been missing in your
I think
life.
that was the main thing for me, even going around and sharing after the dance. It was how just significant things feel, getting tasks done, your responsibilities, whether it's managing the finances or the kids or getting them to the school they need to go to, just running and managing a house and the yard and cars and oil changes. These are some of the things I have to do.
People are going, I need my
taxes.
oil changed.
Yeah, all of those things, right? And to your point, are we just going to have our life and marriage be about managing it all? And even if we could do that with a lightness and a fun and an inspiration, that would just give a different experience to the responsibilities. So that's what we want to talk about here today. What are 5 ways that we personally have brought more fun and inspiration into our own lives so that we can pass that along, and you can try even one of these out if it brings you more fun or inspiration. It served its purpose today.
Exactly. So the first one is going to be addressing fun. The future ones are going to be, actually 4 and 5 will be inspiration. But for fun, try something new where you're both amateurs.
Now, shout out to the couple yesterday. It was actually, we could say it because we had her on the podcast, Sabrina and her husband. They were dancing with us, and she brought this up specifically, and I thought, This is so true.
Yeah. So what she said at the end was, it's not often that we as a couple do something where we both aren't like good at it already. You know, we typically have done something, maybe one of us can do it well, or one of us is interested in it. But she's like, it was fun to do something where we both were starting at ground zero, right? Like we just were both beginning newly. And
To bring some playfulness, could
yes.
be like, we both suck at this because
Yeah.
we've never done it. It's outside our comfort zone.
Mm-hmm.
But yes, to her point, you do that together where,
Mm-hmm.
yes, you both suck. And there was something about doing that together that brought not only a playfulness, but it also brought a certain connection.
Well, if you think about it, oftentimes where we have experienced play is when we are children. And when we're children, there's a lot we haven't done before. So we're curious about life. But as adults, we can just only do the things we're good at or that's comfortable or not out of our comfort zone. So, some things that you can do, maybe it's dance. Like for us, that was really, really fun because we both were amateurs and it was so new for us. It could be a spin class if you haven't done that before. You know, the workout classes, and sometimes they have rave music going on, right? You could race each other. It could be indoor rock climbing. I think a key thing here, at least for me, is that body movement is involved because there's something powerful about moving your bodies in new ways. Like for me, it felt like we released like old energy. What about for you? Do you think like the body movement is important?
Oh yeah, totally. I mean, we're sharing things we've done. So yes,
Mm-hmm.
we've done the indoor rock climbing
Mm-hmm.
that had both the aspects of us not being great at it. It
Mm-hmm.
also had the aspects of us supporting each other, like one belays the other person if you know the terms or not. But the body movement, there's so much different science, and we talk so much about emotion and communicating emotion, and really part of what moves emotion is the movement of the body, not just talking, and we recognize that as well. So there's something about moving the body, and then of course you have the benefits of maybe that builds strength or endurance or flexibility. All those good for the body. What's
Mm-hmm.
good for the body is typically good for the mind and for your mental health.
Yeah, but after that class yesterday, I just felt so rejuvenated like a kid and just like less serious, right? So that's the first way, right? Is try something new where you're both amateurs. And I'd encourage that to be the thing you do that's for your next, quote unquote date night, or if we love daytime dates because we're not night people. But instead of just doing the same old dinner or a movie, do something like creative, right? And look for different ideas. Maybe it's like body painting and you're painting each other's bodies, right? Trying something new. You want to go to the second one, Aaron?
Well, start your day with music. And actually, I'll keep it there.
Mm-hmm.
We've been finding that, yes, we're in the house a lot. And we've also found that Sky really likes music. She seems to have a different mood or energy about her when music is on. But I realized, yeah, it's like kind of quiet in here most of the time in our house. So we started playing music. And it's such a great shift in the energy and the mood, the attitude. And then if you do a dance class, you can link your dance practicing to the music that's on.
Mm-hmm.
Either way, just having music just naturally creates a different environment. It creates some body movement as well. It creates a change in focus. It creates a raise in your energy level. And so I want to give a couple of things we've been listening to. Number one, not like the upper energy, but one that has been a cleansing energy.
Mm-hmm.
We just were told about this song the last couple of days. Trevor Hall and a song called Two Oceans. Oh man, get ready for that
It's
one.
really
Listen
good.
to that one.
Mm-hmm.
And again, play it throughout your house. If you have like a big speaker, or Amazon Alexa can play a lot of the
Mm-hmm.
songs, right? We do go to the Greatest Showman soundtrack a decent amount.
It just makes us smile. I mean, if you have not seen The Greatest Showman, it is such a good movie. But the soundtrack, gosh, I mean, even the emotional songs. So I think that the music thing is key for, yes, how you feel. And even if, like, because I know a lot of you probably don't see your partner a lot during the day if you're not in business together like we are. But let's say in the evening, you come home, maybe both of you, maybe one of you is already home, and it could be just like, oh, let's make dinner, clean up, etc. And it just feels like the same old, same old. Well, perhaps you can create more fun by putting on one of your favorite soundtracks. Maybe it's even one that like it creates some reminiscing. to either your high school days or when you first met, or like a genre that makes you guys smile, or maybe it is a musical. But music truly can activate us in a different way. And I think it does help come to the present moment. So you could still be making dinner, cleaning up, the kids are doing their thing, but with music on, I bet you it will feel like a totally different environment.
I'll just throw one out there that we kind of link to our past, which created a fun memory too. Not together, but even way before that. So might not be expecting this. Maybe an outside the lines suggestion. Kid Cudi,
Oh, wow.
Pursuit of Happiness, or Soundtrack of My Life.
There you go. He does like that. Okay. And that is
me.
No, that's true.
You love it.
That's true.
You'll stop what you're doing.
All right. The third way to create more fun is to flirt more. And I know that can sound so simple, but if you can just create a little bit more play and touch, so instead of just leaving for the day, and you're not going to see your partner until you come home, and giving them the kiss goodbye, smack their butt. Be like, you look good, right? Or it could be giving them like a funny, extra cute kiss, or like just compliments, just the flirty energy. You know how when you're out and about and a stranger says to you some kind of nice compliment, like you look really nice, all of a sudden, like your hormones are boosted, you're happier, you're smiling. They feel it too, right? Like even the person who gives that compliment, you can create that same feeling with your partner, not by just the same old, hey, you look nice today, but no, make it fun. Dang, look at your shoulders.
I mean, honestly, just overly accentuate it. I've been playing around with that. Just go over the top.
Yeah.
Even with a compliment or a grab or a physical touch or something, anything. Just go over the top with it.
Yes.
That's my suggestion.
Smack the booty.
Yeah. So it smarts and they like cripple over now.
Yeah. And I know that this is kind of a different
Actually,
topic.
don't do that.
Yeah.
I just realized, you know what I said the other day on the intimacy workshop that we had, this just came to me. Sometimes when we do something that is feeling uncomfortable, and maybe I am linking too much to like the intimacy topic that we did, but essentially we mask humor. We use humor to mask where we're uncomfortable. And you know what? For some reason I had in my mind someone listening was going to smack the partner's butt really hard.
Oh.
But I've seen that before too, right? That is something you haven't done before. Maybe you feel like I'm not very good at flirting with my partner. You know what? Get better. That's no excuse. You should be able to flirt great with your partner. You should be a great flirter with your partner. If not, who cares? That's your partner. So I don't want to hear anything from anyone about, oh, I'm not like good at flirting. Get better. Practice.
Boom.
So my point being, I've seen from time to time partners that like smack the other person's butt really hard. And that's not sexy. That's not a flirt. That's not inviting. And I pause. I'm like, I wonder why they did that. I think a part of it is because they were uncomfortable with flirting. So don't use humor or don't use something like way over the top to mask your uncomfortability. I just mean generally and genuinely be really enthusiastic and authentic about it.
Yeah, absolutely. Or just flirty conversation. I mean, it's going to boost your energy for sure. And, maybe you've been in a hard season. I know that there are some of you who, even listened to last week's episode and it was about resentment. And so this is a pretty contrasting episode to go from resentment to fun and inspiration. But even if you're in a rough season or coming out of it, even just attempt these a little bit. It's all energy. And if you've been stuck in one energy before, you've got to take even small actions to shift the energy. There was one of the couples that came, actually multiple couples, but one in particular, coming out of a really rough season in their partnership. They came to dance, left feeling totally different. Now, does it fix everything? Of course not. But it is a step in the right direction in the kind of energy that you want to have between you two.
Yeah. Let me move to this next one, which is going to be more about the inspiration. And that is set up a morning routine for intention and meditating.
Yeah. Now
or prayer, like whichever one is there for you. Now, this is how we do it. And what you're going to take away is we're going to actually start sharing with you more specifically about the things that we actually do. Before I give that away, This is how we do this in the morning most of the time. So we drink cacao, which is a ceremonial drinking chocolate, and we'll both put headphones in and we'll both listen to, this kind of links to your last point, but sometimes we'll listen to the same thing, the same teacher. Could be for me like a Alan Watts to Abraham Hicks to a Wayne Dyer to a Joe Dispenza. Sometimes I'll listen to like a binaural beats with like nature music, more of a meditating thing. But either way, in this case, take 20 to 30 minutes on your own, but like sit next to each other or sit in the same room, but you're doing your own time. Then, first of all, do what you need to do to focus to get into the stillness. You need to really quiet your mind. You need to not just down regulate your emotion, but you need to get your body certainly out of the sympathetic into the parasympathetic in your nervous system. You need to get into this place of, it's like a receivership. It's a connection to things that are not just of your own identity. Mm-hmm. Get into this stillness, into this space. Now, since we're having you, that could be one intention, but because we want you to create the inspiration, I invite you to then both have a particular area that you want to grow in or you want a new idea about. Then this is called contemplation. Once you're in that stillness, then you bring a particular intention or area into your thought. Now, you're not trying to come up with solutions, but in this stillness, you bring in something with the intention to get clarity or get creativity or maybe get an answer to. Right? It's not about thinking of action, but see what happens. Because when you and I have both done that, like we did today, then in about 20 to 30 minutes, come together and share what came to you, what inspired you, what creativity do you now have. Mm-hmm. And this is something that you do all the time. You have your notebook right there, mm-hmm. and it's like, I'm only like 15 minutes into meditating, and I look over and you're like already frantically writing. Not frantically.
It's not frantic. Inspired.
Like, with creativity. Mm-hmm. And I invite you to really try that out with your partner, mm-hmm. because you want to share like what happened to us today.
Well, it's been brewing, but it really clicked today, which is we want to share more with you guys. Like there are more topics that we have been kind of like holding back from going into because you all know us as the communication couple, the conflict couple, connection. And we love those things. And those are, of course, going to still be a main pillar of what we talk about. But, and we've heard this from people, like we want to share more about other subjects we're interested in. And even some we're not quote unquote experts in, but we're explorers in. And we're reading about and we're researching, like parenting, different parenting methods, conscious parenting, and, just overall like healthy living, which could include mental health or just mindset or, just certain lifestyle decisions, being a great person, different tool. Like we are huge on self-development and working on ourselves as individuals. And so we want to share some of those books that we read and topics because you know what, really, at the core of it, when you become a better person, your relationship improves, the way you parent improves. And so that's something we want to talk more about. And so if you're resonating with us expanding the topics, please even let us know on Instagram if you're like, yes, Freeman's talk about more things, because we just want to share more of our passions. And that's what came to us.
Yeah, and we're going to do that. We're going to pursue that.
Yes.
So really, lastly, it links to that one in a sense. Mm-hmm. That's read. Or obviously we can now listen to books, but read or listen to the same book together, and it can be on any subject. Mm-hmm. Now, some people like to do a subject that they typically don't look into or they're not as interested. You could choose to do that, and that might fall into the category of what we talked about in the beginning, kind of doing something or looking into something that you're unfamiliar with. Mm-hmm. But it could just be any topic that you are curious about, both of you, and you just haven't really looked into or read into very much. Then what you do is set up the time to talk about what your takeaways are. Mm-hmm. Now, look, we're going to get very specific and detailed, hence what we just shared in the previous point. So for us, we bought The Power of One More by Ed Mylett with the purpose of reading it together. And then we also have the Untethered Soul Journal. We had previously read that book together. Now we're going through their journal together.
And we will link those in the show notes because they are, especially The Power of One More by Ed Milet. You guys would love it. So make sure you check the link in the show notes for that. And I think the reason I want to give some why, right? Because it's not just reading a fiction book and being like, oh, I'm reading this great book. Like, it's kind of like Lord of the Rings, right? No, like a book where you are growing. And it, inspiration, I think, comes from learning more about each other and growing. Like, inspiration is about growth and not feeling stagnant. And so by learning together and discussing a new topic and a new idea, like we're getting new concepts and ideas as we're reading this book, it just breathes new life into our day and into our conversations. It's instead of it being like at the dinner table, how was your day? No, instead it's like, oh my gosh, what do you think of that chapter and how good was that? You can kind of just like create new energy in your conversations. So reading, listening to books, and then I want to give even a bonus way to do that.
I was thinking of something too. I wonder if it's the same.
Wait, it is to actually pursue a subject that maybe it's even a little bit more of a need to get better at, like communication. And so that's where it's not quite a book, but a program. You could together listen to our communication mastery bundle. And if you've never looked at this, definitely go read about it, consider it, look at it, purchase it, because it's a way that you can listen together or even separately and then come back together and discuss it. But we hone in on communication and conflict strategies, and we've got incredible bonuses on there. So you actually really go check this out because a lot of you don't even know that we have this bundle. It's at onlinecouplesworkshops.com/communication bundle. It is the best of the best, like the most impactful exercises, even some exercises that we do typically only in our coaching is in the bundle now. So make sure that you really consider that as a way to grow together.
That's a great point. Mm-hmm. And there is audio courses as well as video lessons and exercises to go through. Mm-hmm. And it's so true. I mean, you're going to really clarify the next season and direction with each other. You're going to learn the way to disappear any disappointments and really get over some of those upsets that you've had, even if you've held them back. Mm-hmm. And probably the biggest point, being able to practice truly listening together at the same time with a new skill so that it doesn't turn into something like a conflict or something that's going to disconnect you. It's almost like we're there facilitating this new way of listening to have a conversation about something that maybe you have felt stuck in.
Exactly.
All of this in the Communication Mastery Bundle. So that's such a great point.
Yeah, absolutely. And so make sure you check the link in bio or in the description as well for that. So those are the 5 different ways that you can create more fun and inspiration in your partnership. Because again, there's a lot on your plate. The world, life, it can feel very serious, but it's also about experience and joy and play and fun, and inspiration is an important part of your life and your partnership together. So at least implement one of these, if not more, into your partnership, because this podcast is not about just listening to it. It's about also doing something. And with that, everyone, we will talk to you on the next episode.